Welcome to the Monetization Show Podcast, where we talk to the greatest minds in media, tech, and telecommunications. This show explores strategies and lessons for driving profitable growth with direct-to-consumer business models. I'm your host, Vijay Sajja, founder and CEO of Emergent. My goal is to bring you specific and proven strategies straight from industry leaders that will help you solve your greatest challenges at the intersection of direct-to-consumer business models, evolving user preferences, market and competitive pressures. Welcome.
So, Andrea, thank you so much for taking the time to do this podcast with me. I really appreciate it. I remember I met you maybe 7 years ago. You were leading the North American team of Deltatre, and we just started working with a common customer, BritBox. I was quite impressed and really glad to see you took the CEO position in your mid-30s, right? And you lead a team of 1,000 experts at Deltatre and work with several leading brands across the globe, right? So the other thing about Andrea is that you worked at various cities across the globe, right? So a lot of international experience. Welcome to the show, and really appreciate you taking the time. And please add to the listeners. I'm sure I missed a few interesting pieces of what you packed here, and so feel free to add.
Thanks a lot for having me. Is a pleasure. Is a very nice initiative. I'm calling actually and connecting from Torino in Italy. It is my hometown and is where one of the main hubs of Deltatre are, or at least where it all started 38 years ago. But yes, as you said, I did a little bit all around the world, and we met when I was living in LA, Los Angeles, and I still travel too much than what I would like. But yes, now I'm in Italy. I'm very happy to be home.
Awesome. The BritBox was a really great story, and we helped them grow to various countries across the globe, and really providing them value in terms of expanding their business, right? So, and you want to share some data around that?
Sure. So, BritBox is one of our longest standing customer from an OTT perspective. Obviously, we have customers that are with us since 38 years, but on another side of the business, in the sport business, OTT was not born yet. BritBox is one of our favorite customers. It's an incredible platform, self-sustainable. So, it's public. They do very, very well in this moment where a lot of streamers and broadcasters and media are under pressure to be profitable and generate money. I think they are a good example to follow for all the industry. They have a top level team. The guys are really good there. I think one data that again is public and is really impressive is in the past 4 years, the subscriber been growing of 300%. Is an incredible numbers, and we've been part of the journey with you. Yeah. One of the examples where we work really well together. I think where having a good partnership really makes the difference.
Yeah. No, that's a great point, and 300% in 4 years, building a self-sustainable business, a profitable business is not easy. It's an exception to the rule, right? It really speaks to the value we both provide, and from our perspective, enabling them to roll out to other countries. They went to Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, and the Nordics. Each country, it's a different market, the pricing, promotions, and what they work in one country may not work in other countries. That's kind of the flexibility we bring at Emergent. And then in your case, it's really you're handling a lot of the video side of things and the application side of things for BritBox, and together, so really giving that nimbleness and the ability to change based on market and is what we brought them, and helping them grow. It's a fantastic case study for both of us, and also a fantastic team. They're really innovative team at BritBox, and they really know focusing on their product and what's important for their users, focusing on the content and the user experience, and then, picking the best people to come and help them in the area. So we both work with large players across the globe, some of them, billion-dollar companies. And, we often run into, teams that are debating, right? So do I want to build this? Or historically, they may have been building certain things, right? And I know you engage personally with the C-suite of these companies, and, I do the same. And remember, those are all tricky conversations we both have. And so maybe you can share some experience on the pros and cons, and, given the current environment, everybody is wanting to do your big boxes, right, in terms of getting to profitability. And what are those conversations like?
Yeah. So this is actually a big topic for us, a big topic in the industry and in the area of the industry where we sit in, let's say the front end, the streaming front end, and overall the video backbone. It is also one of the services that we provide. We are now in a phase where what we think is happening is that a lot of these giant media, also small, medium, but also the very big ones, are actually looking outside on the market, looking at companies like yours, like mine, and others, saying like, can these guys helping providing a better product in a cost-efficient, effective way? The famous do more for less. It's all about efficiency. The previous phase was exactly the opposite, where instead they were internalizing a lot. So we worked with our team to add flexibility to what we were doing. So we are now in we are in a very nice position, I will say, because we can give you a piece of what we do, of our tech stack. Like you can take Diva, our video player, you can take Axis, and you can integrate it into your OTT, or you can just take Volt, our entire platform, and plug Evergent and have a ready to go solution. We come, as you know, from the sport world. We do a lot in sport. Now we do more in media, if you want, in terms of revenue, but we come from sport. And in sport, I think that happened some cycles before. So at a certain point, the big sport properties, they realized that they needed to focus on content, the sport itself, and some other KPI that they had. So they hired a company like us to build their tech. And I think we are seeing the same in the media. I'm not sure if you're seeing the same, but I guess yes.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think we're, I really liked what you outlined there, a modular approach. And, with these customers, what are the gaps where they're struggling? And we take similar approach in going and helping them, we're initially at least, where the gaps are. And, we're seeing the same trend, talking about sports, right? So sometimes we find that they don't plan for success. They started internalizing, they wanted to launch something. They weren't quite sure in some cases. Okay, they started like a hobby because this was not a mainstream business. And some of them, we found that they quickly, it took off, and then scaling became an issue, right? Scaling and flexibility, right? Then you saw well-known examples of, people trying to log in and they couldn't, and the people were trying to buy things and they couldn't, and so that's another aspect. Two aspects. Scaling in terms of business complexity, scaling in terms of sheer numbers. So we saw in both cases, companies struggle. And one journey we started with customer of ours 10 years ago. They started as a hobby. They're in cricket. As you know, cricket is quite popular in India. It's an amazing team. We worked with the Sony for the last 10 years. And, when they started, they didn't know how big this could become, right? And they said, okay, let's find the best guys to come and help us. And we help them. Sometimes, you have 10 million people come in 5 minutes to watch a cricket game. And India is, it's a small country, right? So, and so it's, again, the scale, both in terms of business complexity the type of products they want to roll out. Is it going to be per game, per season? How do you handle seasonality? So this is where I think some of these providers, the smart ones, they're realizing that, hey, let's work with the best players and really focus on the product, right? It's, we're definitely seeing the same trend.
Yeah, we just did cricket, and it was the number were incredible. Was our first season again with a partner, and the numbers are mind-blowing. And scalability is something I didn't mention, and is a key point. And is we based. We presented last year our new platform Vault. We adjusted this year, and one of the key selling point is that is going to grow with you. So I think we are the only one in the market that can really go from, if you want, a niche streamer to a giant with the same platform. Is whenever you don't have to re-platform, to rebuild and so on. Flexibility is very important. And then the what you just said on the safe pair of hands. I mean, if people cannot buy, you can do all the planning and the concept and the night visual of the world, but people cannot buy the disaster, or like if the stream doesn't work, then it's the same. So again, I go back to the point of where I think we work really well, having a strong partnership before even we engage with the clients. I think can really make the difference for the success of our clients.
That's a really good point in terms of, I sum it up. It's like planning for success, right? Okay, you're here today, but do you have a partner that can actually, 3 years from now, let's say you do 10x, can your partner service that? And with Deltatre, having the experience of, nearly 40 years, right? And we're not as long, but we have similar customers. Having service large-scale customers across the globe, we definitely bring that comfort and, hey, when you succeed beyond your dreams, we're there with you, right? So you don't have to go. And also the pricing scales, for, both of our cases, right? And it's scales as, our interests are aligned with the customer. As they succeed, we succeed with them, along with them. So, which is important. And I'm sure, we're seeing a lot of attention these days, sustainable business, profitable business. And so what are you seeing in that area of the pressure to become profitable? Money has become tight. We all know that. Interest rates have gone up, and maybe, share some experiences there.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully they're going to come down, but I think we have to wait still a little bit. But yeah, I think that if we talk about streaming, we, as you know, we also do website, and another website, we have more than 300 properties. So I think like I use the example of website because I think something similar is happening on the OTT, that a few years ago, many years ago, everyone needed to to have a website, and a very beautiful one. So they were spending a lot of money. Then it became a little bit commoditized. Then people are starting to extract real value out of it. So it's an asset that you need to have. It needs to be beautiful. It needs to be cost efficient, and it needs to help you reach your goals, whether they are user information or whatever. On the OTT, I think we are seeing the same. A few years ago, there was a need to do OTT. We have been one of the first. You've been one of the first, and people didn't really know how to do it. So there were a huge amount of capital going in, and so on. The time is shrinking. So if we think of the amount of money that has been invested in the broadcast industry, it is incredible. But the period of time was significantly longer than the one on the OTT. We are getting to the same results in terms of quality and reliability. That's impressive. But I think now we are in that phase where several people can do it, few people can do it really well. Then there is a big gap. And I think where we have been working a lot in the past 2 years, and it's been painful exercise, to be honest, it has been on focusing on really be cost effective. So being able to deliver the same quality to the top client, but also to the medium and the smaller one. Then hopefully we hope they all grow and become huge, but having the ability to service most most of the industry, every size, every cost, and every budget is what we believe is going to make the difference in the next 12 to 18 months.
Awesome. Another topic of interest, this is something we'll learn when we started working with the NBA, right? Really about fan engagement and personalization, and what this was a bit of a surprise to me that 2/3 of their fans are outside US, right? We're 180 countries, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that before we started working with NBA, and so the importance of maybe you've been in sports a lot longer, working with many different sports, teams, leagues, etc. What are you seeing the importance of in the area of fan engagement, personalization of content, and even using things like AI, generative AI, and so maybe you can, for the readers' benefit, you can share some insights there.
Yeah, so obviously it's a massive area of focus for us, both the personalization and the use of AI. And I start from AI. We just had our AI committee this morning, so I'm fresh about it. If you remove a lot of the buzz of everything is going to be automated, we replace all the development, it is absolutely not true.
Right.
I think in our world, the biggest driver are efficiency. That's a fact. If you do it well, there are some areas where you have incredible efficiency, like documentation. But that's a bit boring if you want. It's very practical and techie side. On where we really see big innovation is in the ability to hyper-personalize the content. So we need obviously a huge amount of data coming from you, coming from other providers, coming from the big tech. And if we are able to take this data, massage it properly, and feed it into our front end, our access, or with the player, then we can really create an experience that matters for the user and makes the difference. At the end of the time, they will have a better experience, they will spend more time, and everyone will be happy. So I think in the next, again, 12, 18 months, personalization is going to be king. A lot of people are talking about spending time searching for something, or Netflix or Amazon, even if you have this huge amount of content, a need that we solve. We are quite advancing, serving the right content to the right audience. So that's an area for sure. The other area instead is the ability to interact, and I think sport then is maximized. So easy years, probably 6 or 7, that we offer the possibility of choosing the stream, choosing the camera, choosing the audio, but it was really expensive. I think now we are getting to the possibility of having the final user more at the center, like being his own director or her own coach, by creating really an experience where you need to process a lot of data. And that is where AI is driving efficiency and opening possibilities.
Yeah. Those are some great insights, and I think I agree with you. Personalization and user experience is really keys to creating customer value, right? I mean, it's getting them hooked, and you spoke about the data. So again, the importance of data is nothing if you don't have the underlying data to guide the AI, right? I mean, it's again, on our side, we've been fortunate, over the years, 16 years we've been in the business, we onboarded over 800 million users across the globe, 180 countries, right? So we have a lot of data of, there are 2 areas, where our customers, find it value, right? And then, where we provide value using the data and the AI on top of it is really our customers, our joint customers have 2 big problems. One is onboard as many users as possible, eliminate friction. And how do you make it easy to get them onboarded, right? So that you don't offer 20 products when they come to your door, right? And what's the right product to offer? And again, a lot of data helps us. We're doing a lot of innovation in that area. And the other thing is, once they're on board, how do you keep them, right? So there's eliminating voluntary churn. Again, a lot of innovation. We are fortunate because we have the data to guide to predict the right product on the acquisition side, even right promotion, right? And so it's, I agree with you. I think data is the key, and how you use the data, ask the right question through AI to create business value to our customer. And so the next topic is, what are you seeing in terms of, I know your Deltatre is constantly innovating, right? It's in expanding your value footprint, for your customers. Having been in the business, for nearly 40 years, right? So, what are some of the things that you guys are working on, and innovation in potential areas for value creation for our joint customers?
To give you also some data, we spent is 2-3 years that we spend between 10 and 50% of our revenue in capex in R&D. So we pure R&D. So we are investing on the high side of the industry. I mean, we do a lot of different things. So I will say for us the most exciting things are everything that we are doing again around the hyper personalization. I really believe that soon we are going to interact with our streaming platform in a different and more efficient way. From the advertisement, that's a biggie, probably is none of us, but advertisement more contextualized and proper to what we are watching, because also that can be a tool to really the ability to choose the content, participate in polls, like make the experience really relevant for every fans, seamless across every device, and so on. We are investing a lot on the services that we do also around the sport events. So the other side of the business, one big theme for us is ESG. So, when you have a soccer match, you have all these vans going to the stadium and all these people and all this electricity. So now we have been asked by most of our clients to don't send them anymore the vans. So everything is remote, and we have cloud, all the operation. That's an area where we are investing a lot. VAR in the one we do for the Bundesliga is fully remote. So that's very exciting for us, and has a direct impact also on the world we live in. So is something that I found very, very, very interesting, to be honest. The things that excite me the most, together with the hyper personalization and the ability to use real-time analytics to drive the experience of the fan. That's where we are investing most of our time.
Awesome. I think the first time I met you, right, I figured, you're an entrepreneur at heart, and
Thank you.
Yeah, and then I passed about your work, and I know your dad was an entrepreneur, right? It's
yeah.
I know you're one of the youngest executives in this business, right? And then you lead a team of global team of 1,000+ people, right? It's I think what gets you excited when you come to work every day, right? And what you find kind of most invigorating, when it's where we could share where to.
Yeah. First of all, thank you. Yes, and my father was one of the founders of Deltatre, and fun enough, I am the same age of Deltatre, so I is my elder sister. I grew up with her, and one of the challenges is, let's start from the challenges, is for sure removing a bit of the emotions. So I mean, emotions are good, passion is good, and so on. But at the end of the day, you run a business, you have the responsibility of other people, and so you need to be lucid and focused on. This is not my thing, but is a thing that has an impact of the life of thousands of people. So that's the thing, honestly, that I feel the most, that I always pose myself as a challenge, to be able to decouple, if you want, the entrepreneurial side to the managerial side. But then going back to passion is good. The things that excites me the most of what we do is that we do things that are connected somehow to the passion and the dreams of people. So, you launch the cricket platform, or you launch hockey, or you launch, most like the kids spend time looking at it. So that really gives me an emotion. I was speaking this weekend with some friends of my kids that were asking me, what do you do? And I remember when they were asking to my father what he was doing was really complicated to explain. And then now I just say the name of one of the platform and they're like, oh, wow. So that's very emotional. That's, I think, is for me the best part of what we do is that is tangible, and we deliver passion to the people that are both outside and inside of the company. And I think is the same for you at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I really appreciate you sharing that. And it wasn't one of the planned questions. I thought I'll ask you anyways. It's make it a bit more personal. I can relate to many of the things you said, right? It's really creating value for our customers, and you're right. It's kind of relatable, right? The subscription management and billing is one way to say it. The other way to say it is we help millions of fans of NBA, watch their games. It's another way to say it, So really that gets me going in terms of, taking care of customers across the globe, providing that value, and also seeing the team grow. We have many employees that have been with us for 15 plus years, and some of them started after college, and really seeing them grow to be executives and it really gives me joy. So I can relate to many things you said, and I really appreciate you being part of the podcast. And anything else you want to share with the viewers?
No, I really thanks a lot. It's a great initiative, and I'm looking forward to see the other episode and do more together.
Great, awesome. Again, thanks again. I know you're very, very busy, and so I appreciate you taking the time and sharing some of the insights, and I'm sure they're super valuable, and they really appreciate listening and watching to the podcast.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you for tuning into the Monetization Show. I hope you found today's episode insightful and that it inspired you with ideas that could power your next big move. If you would like to share your thoughts or questions about the ideas we discussed today, do drop a comment on LinkedIn or wherever you found us on social media. Until next time, this is Vijay Sajja, wishing you continued success in your monetization journey.